In the summer of 1914, Europe did not prepare for a long war. It prepared for a short one. Across the continent, soldiers boarded trains smiling. Civilians waved from platforms. Politicians spoke confidently. Newspapers promised victory within months. No one believed they were stepping into a disaster that would consume an entire generation. They believed the war would be quick. This belief did not come from ignorance. It came from experience. For decades, European wars had followed a familiar pattern. Conflicts were brief. Battles were decisive. Armies clashed, one side lost, and negotiations followed. Even major wars in the 19th century had ended rapidly. Victory was expected to come from speed, precision, and decisive action. Long wars were seen as failures of leadership, not inevitabilities. So when crisis turned into mobilization in 1914, leaders did not imagine stalemate. They imagined resolution. Military planners reinforced this confidence. War plans across Europe were built around rapid movement and immediate engagement. Armies were designed to strike hard and early. Railways were optimized for speed. Timetables were calculated down to the hour. The logic was simple. If you moved faster than your enemy, you would win before costs mounted. If the war dragged on, something had gone wrong. That assumption shaped everything. Soldiers were told they would be home soon. Some were promised victory by Christmas. Others were assured the enemy would collapse after the first major battle. Mobilization speeches emphasized honor, duty, and confidence, not endurance. Uniforms were clean. Equipment was packed lightly. Supplies were not designed for years of fighting. There was no expectation of prolonged suffering. There was no expectation of trench warfare. There was no expectation of attrition. Civilians shared the same belief. Crowds gathered to celebrate departures. Bands played. Families waved. The war was framed as a necessary but limited event, a trial to be endured briefly before normal life resumed. Even governments reinforced the illusion. Budgets assumed short campaigns. Industry was not fully mobilized. Economies were not prepared for total war. Everyone assumed the system would hold. But the belief in a short war carried a hidden danger. If the war was supposed to end quickly, then slowing down was unacceptable. Delays meant vulnerability. Hesitation meant defeat. Any attempt to pause or reconsider risked falling behind enemies who were assumed to be moving at full speed. This belief removed caution. Once mobilization began, leaders felt they could not stop without losing everything. When the first battles failed to produce decisive results, the response was not restraint. It was escalation. More men were sent. More resources were committed. New offensives were planned, not because they worked, but because stopping felt impossible. Every side believed the next push would finally end the war. They were always wrong. The war did not end quickly because it was not designed to. Modern armies were too large. Firepower was too destructive. Defensive technologies outpaced offensive ones. And every failure made retreat politically unacceptable. No one had planned for stalemate. No one had planned for exhaustion. And once reality contradicted expectations, leaders doubled down instead of stepping back. The illusion of a short war delayed adaptation. Commanders clung to outdated tactics longer than they should have. Governments postponed difficult decisions. Civilians endured sacrifices believing relief was just months away. The longer the war dragged on, the harder it became to admit the truth. That this was no longer a war to be won quickly. It was a war that would not end cleanly at all. By the time expectations finally shifted, millions were already dead. The belief that the war would be brief had not caused the conflict, but it had shaped how disastrously it unfolded. Confidence replaced caution. Speed replaced strategy. And once the war failed to end quickly, no one knew how to stop it. World War I did not begin with resignation. It began with optimism. And that optimism proved fatal. Europe entered World War I believing it could control the outcome through speed and confidence. Instead, those same assumptions removed the ability to slow down, rethink, or stop once the war began. If this video helped explain why early expectations made the war worse, not better, consider leaving a like. It helps this channel reach more viewers interested in serious, system-level history. And if you want to understand how rigid planning made stopping the war impossible, subscribe. The next episode explores the plans that locked Europe into catastrophe.